Morning. Hello.
Here we are, finally.
Okay, just you and me today, Rini, huh?
Looks that
Okay,
way.
perfect. Okay, we got the power team on today. There we go. All right, and we want to say hi to our YouTube
Hi,
audience
guys.
and thank you for joining us in the sacred energy of Circle today. And today you're going to be able to watch Rini and I as we connect with people who have crossed over to the other side and deliver messages from those people. And our hope is that by watching us at work, you'll come to understand that the loved ones that you may have lost are in fact still with you. So please join us as we open with a prayer. Holy Father, Mother God, thank you for allowing us to come together today in service of spirit. Please help us to open all of our senses, physical and spiritual, so that we can receive your messages without interference from our own minds. We humbly ask that you make the circle an uplifting and joyous experience for everyone in attendance. Please ask the spirits who recognize the voices in this room to join us this morning so that we will know that they watch over us, love us, and protect us still. And please allow us to deliver the information presented by Spirit with grace and compassion, in complete trust and respect of your infinite wisdom. Amen.
Amen.
All right. And since it's just the two of us, I'm not going to bother setting up a timer. Okay. So
Okay.
whoever gets a link first, just jump on in there. Okay.
Right. I'm actually being shown a man. He has a full face. He has thinning hair, and it looks light. Um, this man was also, he's telling me he was also a gambler. Um, he said he lived in the fast lane, and sometimes his choices weren't always the best choices. He said, now, especially since crossing over, he says, I'm being shown, he's saying, my unrighteous ways. Um, he's also talking about being in the fast lane. Um, I stop there. See, do you understand any of this?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Um, he's talking about fast cars. He's talking about racing. Um, numbers, gambling. I feel like he had a really hard, fast lifestyle. Um, he said, I definitely wasn't into religion, that's for sure. Um, being on this side, I can see what I did in my life. Um, and even though I enjoyed what I was doing at the time, I can see that some of the choices involved other people. Making these choices wasn't always the right thing, because I harmed other people. I said, I feel bad about this, but at the time, I was just living the life. To me, I had the best life. This fast, it was just such high energy, adrenaline kick. Um, I always had a woman on my arm. They call eye candy. Um, and I was the man, but I can see where I did wrong. Um, I'm not seeing a wedding ring on him. I don't feel like he was married. And if he was married, it was only for a short time. But he's just talking about being in this fast lifestyle. Um, he's talking about a whirlwind around him. And, and this involved bringing in a lot of the wrong people. Um, he's talking about drugs. He's talking about women, wrong choices, late nights, um, sometimes to the point that it was so late and so involved that the next day I could barely function. There was times when I didn't get up until mid-afternoon. Would any of this make sense?
Um, Now I'm thinking that some of it makes sense.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. Um, he's talking about high stakes. Um, he's also given me a man's name with the letter A around him or you. Um,
I don't know.
he's talking about, I don't know why he's talking about this now, Alfred E. Newman. Um, he's showing me his face on Mad Magazine. He's showing me Mad
Mhm.
Magazine. Um, he's he's saying, believe me when I tell you, I lived a mad life. Um, let's see if he has any message here. He's just talking about, at our age, reconsidering the choices that we make. Um, sometimes we do things for fun or pleasure, but rethink them. He said, not that you do that kind of stuff, but sometimes the people around us need guidance. Um, he says everybody would lead a happier life with guidance from friends. And he's talking about a song about you got a friend. Um, just paying attention and just opening up those lifelines to people that need it at the time when they're the most vulnerable. I'm going to leave that with love and light and thank him for coming in.
Okay. I got to finish writing this down. Okay.
Okay.
Here we go. Okay. Because I don't want to forget that message. Okay. So I only knew two people who raced, and
Okay.
the one piece of information did not fit at all. But and the second one actually makes sense for a former boss of mine who I worked for in the 1980s. And I have not seen him since the 1980s. So I had to Google him while you were giving me that reading to see what was going on. And I did find actually an obituary from 2023. And I'm going to pull out the highlights of this. Okay.
Okay.
He says here he fulfilled a lifelong dream of competing in the legendary 24 Hours of Le Mans in France. Okay. And he also raced in Brazil. And let's see what else.
Wow.
Okay. He was very heavily into politics. So that may have explained a lot of the, what's the word that I want? The talk about uh, other people and
Um,
relationships and things like that. But
uh-huh.
in terms of the information about he could not get up in the morning.
Uh-huh.
Now, I thought this was interesting because obviously I did not know him
Hmm.
like that way. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Especially later in life. And when I knew him, he was married. Okay. But I like if he got to that extent with substances, I just wouldn't be aware of it. Okay.
Okay.
But what was funny about it was is that you talked about the Alfred E. Newman face. Okay,
Uh-huh.
literally, my husband and I were just looking at a picture of Alfred E. Newman yesterday. Okay,
No.
which is funny. Okay, but
Wow.
most importantly, okay, what really hit home with me um, was that message where you said, just open a lifeline to vulnerable people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And without going into details, um, that I'm actually going to be doing that this afternoon. Okay. I've
Oh, wow.
got a friend who is kind of in some trouble and I'm going to go help her. So, there you have it. But,
Wow.
that was really interesting. The other thing I want to say is that he's a first timer.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
That's the first
Oh.
time that he's been in. Okay. But I wanted to ask you now, in light of the fact that like initially, like I told you, I wasn't sure who this was.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, part of that had to do with the fact that this guy, like I said, goes back to 1980. All right. And then I haven't seen him since then. And then second of all, I really did not know his personal side. I only knew really his business side. You know, as a medium, what do you do if you happen to bring in a sitter like that who would be like a non-family member, that the sitter may have more difficulty identifying? What do you do in that case?
I just keep working with them. And, through my mind, I asked them to give me something that the sitter would understand. And when I did that is when it came through with Alfred E. Newman. So it was like it had to be somebody around you because he was given a piece of information that you just did yesterday, which I thought was pretty amazing because I'm like, Alfred E. Newman, what are you giving me this? And then he related it to his mad lifestyle, you know, um, just crazy. And from what I remember, Mad Magazine was a little bit on the crazy side.
Mhm,
I
mhm.
don't remember much about it, but I do remember the magazine. But I just, persist with them because I feel like if they're coming to us, they have a reason. They have a message for us, or they have evidence to spark our mind to go back and revisit people that we were involved with. And maybe sometimes we did not ever realize a relationship with them, but there was something specific or something that they still remember about us that they want to make an impact on us.
Okay. All right, that makes sense to me. And then I also want to point out to our YouTube audience, think about the dynamics of what just happened here. So literally, I have not seen this man since 1980. Okay. And we weren't, like I said, like involved on a personal level. It was
Mhm.
strictly business. So why does he pop up here after 45 years? Like why all of a sudden is he turning up in my life? And to me, this is one of the great mysteries of mediumship. Like, why does stuff like this happen?
Mhm.
Okay. This man who, like, I never would have thought he would have taken a personal interest in me from the other side, but
Mhm.
so it appears that he has. Okay. And like I said originally, I only knew two people who raced cars, and it was definitely not the other one. Okay.
Mhm.
Absolutely not. So it had to be this one. And, I read his obituary there, and you saw all of the things that he did with respects to racing.
Yeah.
But in terms of the rest of his lifestyle, I just wouldn't have known. Okay.
Mhm.
I just would not have known that. But like, and why would he come in and tell me that? You know,
Yeah.
it's just kind of, this is what I find so interesting about mediumship is that sometimes they will come in and tell you things that you really didn't. And I know I'm right here because now my hair's standing up on the back of my head right now, but they'll come in and they'll tell you things that like you didn't know about them,
Hmm.
which is interesting. And if you happen to, and it might not be immediately that you're able to do it, but years down the road, you might be able to validate that information with somebody who did know them well. So,
Right.
which has happened to me. So,
Well, that recently happened to me when I was in Lilydale. I was doing a reading for a woman, and it went back to high school, ninth grade,
mhm,
and described the girl to a T to her. And then she knew right away then who it was. She
yeah,
goes, "Oh my gosh, why would she come in? I haven't seen her since ninth grade."
yeah,
But the message was very specific to her that she understood, just like your message with, working with somebody that's vulnerable. She was like, "Oh my gosh, I really needed to hear that message, but I don't understand. I haven't seen her since ninth grade,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah, literally,
This is like
literally.
40 plus years.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah. That's
wow.
it. Yeah. And then spirit will, you know, give you information that is like unique to that
Mhm.
person, like the racing. Like I
Yeah,
said, I only knew two people in my lifetime who did that. And it wasn't the one. So,
yeah,
there you
yeah.
have it, So that was fascinating reading. I thank
Mhm.
you for that. All right, I'm going to see if I can grab a spirit for you now. Let me see. All right, let's see. Actually, first thing that is happening to me is I'm hearing a word, Carolina. Okay, Carolina. Though, do you have a connection to the Carolinas at all?
I was just talking to somebody yesterday from Carolina. One, no,
Okay, all right.
Carolina.
Well, let me see where this goes. Okay, so we're talking Carolina, and I want to. This person's being coy with me. They're not showing themselves, but they're whispering things in my ear. So okay.
This could be fun.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, all right. I'm hearing the word Ford now, and I believe that's in reference to a car.
Okay,
So sit on that, okay? But I
okay,
think a Ford is important.
okay.
Um, I don't even know who sang this song. But the lyrics go something like, green, green, it's green, they say, on the far side of the hill. Green, green, the grass is greener still. Do you know that song? I can't think of what the name of it is.
I
It's green,
may.
green, green, it's green, they say, on the far side of the hill.
Yeah,
That one. Okay,
yes,
you know that
yes,
one? That's
yeah.
what's going on in my ear. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, but they're talking about the grass being greener. Okay, grass being greener. Come on, quit playing games and show yourself. Silly thing. Uh, all right, this is a male stepping in here. And the one thing that I want to say about him is I feel like he has like a bit of scoliosis or something going on with his spine. Okay. Because when I look at him from the back, his hips are like slightly off rather than
Okay.
being flat. Okay, just a
Hmm.
little bit off. Okay. Um, the brunette and with a sense of humor. Okay, because like I said, he's showing me from the back, and when I look at his back, he sits there and he shakes his fanny like a belly dancer would.
Okay.
So he's being comical, and and, so, and now he's turned around. Okay, but he's got this scarf, okay, that he's wearing, and he's not wearing, but he's holding it up, and he's got his eyes going like this over the top of the scarf, and this is all very silly, okay.
Uh-huh.
So I'm just going to stop and ask, do you know a silly man in spirit?
Well, I was thinking of one other person, but when you said the scoliosis and being silly, I thought of someone else. So I think it's the second person I'm thinking.
Okay, all right, I'm just laughing because he's just not typical at all, but this is very silly. uh let's see. Actually, I think now that I look more at them, I think silliness and laughter kind of like defined your relationship with
Yes.
this man.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And
He was always making me laugh.
yeah, yeah. And it's just crazy, lighthearted
Yeah.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Now he he's showing me the movie Blazing Saddles. Okay. And he's telling me that he liked the movie Blazing Saddles. Would you know about that? The Mel Brooks movie?
Um, I've heard of the movie. I don't recall what it's about, but he
Okay.
did love watching movies.
Okay. All right. I'll ask him to give me something else. This is random. Did he have a fish tank?
Yeah. That I do not remember. I
He's
don't.
showing me a fish tank. All
Yeah.
right. Let's see.
Another friend had a fish tank that's in spirit.
Okay. No, no. Let's see. Let's see
Okay.
what the fish tank is about.
I'm wondering if it's another person
Now,
now.
this is just very silly. Okay, because he's showing me the inside of the fish tank, and all of these fish are um like comic character fish. They're not real fish. Okay. And they're in there and they're talking to each other about humans,
Oh,
which is really bizarre. All right. So I want to see where he's going with this.
what? Oh, I think I know what he's talking about.
Okay. All right. Because
Wow.
all these fish are in the tank, but they're talking about the humans that they can see from the inside of the tank. Uh,
Wow.
all right.
Might get him to tell you about that.
Okay. All right.
Wow.
Um, okay. This is random. I just heard the word Meadowcroft, and full disclosure to our YouTube audience, Renee and I happen to be fairly close to each other geographically compared to the other mediums who come on this session. And Meadowcroft is a location that we both know. But did this man have a connection to Meadowcroft that you know of, or live by
Probably,
it?
probably was there.
Okay. All right.
More than
Uh,
likely was he was there.
because he's showing me that location for the benefit of our YouTube audience. It's a 30,000-year-old rock shelter that was it's the oldest um, place where people lived in the United States. And he's showing me the side of the hillside, and just like, which is very steep, but he's showing me like sliding down the hill in mud. Okay, so I feel like sliding is important to him on a downward thing. Would you understand him
Yeah,
sliding downward? Okay.
yeah, yeah.
This is very curious how spirit is presenting this to me. Let's see. Cigarettes and coffee.
Yep, yep.
Okay. Four-letter words.
Occasionally. Not often.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. After he slides down, there's some four-letter words.
Yeah, probably.
Uh, did he make his own bacon that you're aware?
Probably did. He was a good cook.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
You see, he's talking about making his own bacon.
Hmm.
Let's
Yeah,
see.
he was a very
Uh,
good cook.
okay. Did he hang fly strips in his house?
Yes.
Okay. Showing me the fly strips.
Yeah.
I'm laughing at that one, Spirit. Nobody has ever given that one to me. That's funny. Oh
That's
my
funny.
gosh. Oh, geez. All right.
You never see them anymore.
Yeah, I know. And that got my curiosity up actually, because I want to know more about this home. Okay. Because yes, you don't see them anymore exactly. So why does he have fly strips up here? Okay. And he's actually showing me the inside of his home, and from the inside of the home I can look out and I see like a lot of trees around him. They live in a fairly wooded area.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So he's just basically saying the fly strips were necessary because of where he was located. Well, this is interesting. I don't feel um like a family bond with this man, but I feel um I'm going to say a strong mental connection with this man.
Strong
Okay.
what?
Strong mental connection with this
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Did you eat Cheerios with him?
Probably did.
He's talking about eating Cheerios with you. That's
Yeah.
funny. That's funny. Okay. It's funny because I'm listening to him, and for the benefit of our YouTube audience, this guy is really laid back,
Hmm.
and he doesn't he's not like pushing information out at me. I'm kind of like pulling it from him. And
Hmm.
I think this is the way that he was in real life. He didn't share a lot with people that he didn't know. Would that be correct?
Yes. Hmm.
Okay. It was, yeah,
Yeah.
more on the private side with people he didn't know.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm just laughing at the information that he's giving me is so ordinary. Okay. Did he have a generator?
Probably did. I
Okay.
I know I have one.
Okay, he's talking about his generator. Okay, that's kind of uncommon. You know. And he's showing me that outside of the house, there's I'll call it an outbuilding for lack of another word. Okay, where I'll call it a man cave because he's got all his stuff in there, including the generator. But you understand an outbuilding outside of the house?
Um, Probably did. I don't really remember
You
it.
don't remember? Okay, all right, give me something that Rainey would remember.
I know he had a lot of tools, but I don't know if I knew where he kept them or anything.
Okay. Do you remember walking through the woods with this man in the winter? Snow on the ground.
Probably did. We were always out.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
He's talking about going through the woods early in the morning.
Yeah, we were both early birds.
Okay. But what he's saying is that you were walking through the woods early in the morning and you didn't talk, right? And what he's saying is that he felt so comfortable with you that he could walk through the woods with you and not say anything, still appreciate the fact that you were there. But it was like, and he's talking about kind of like this mental connection that you had, you know, where you would come back from the walk, and you'd both be talking about the same thing that you had seen, but you
Mm-hmm.
hadn't, you know, discussed it. Like, you know, for example, you know, did you that owl that was in the tree, but you didn't say it on the walk, but you both said it when you came back from the walk because you were both on the same path. And this is what he liked about you. And he's kind of pulling back now, so I'm just going to see if I can get a message. And this message is very simple. Stay well, my friend. All right. And I'll leave you that with light and love. And thank you for letting me serve spirit.
Thank you. Thank you. It was kind of ironic you talked about sliding downhill because
Mhm.
um he did take a turn and got in
Yeah.
with a bad crew, and
Yeah.
that was his demise. But um I was cleaning out a cupboard yesterday and found this old t-shirt from Jamboree in the Hills that I used
Oh,
to go to,
yeah.
and it had all these mud prints on it. And what had happened that year, we had so much rain and so much mud. Everything was covered in mud.
Like
We,
Woodstock.
yes, there was literally coming down the hill was like a mudslide. And
Yeah.
so everybody was covered in mud and everybody had muddy hands and everybody was putting handprints on everybody. But this mudslide, oh my gosh, people were just sliding down it everywhere. And so that the next year's t-shirt had all these mud prints on it and made me think of that. And it was kind of ironic that he brought that up. And like he did take a downhill swing and wasn't good. Um, he did love his coffee and his cigarette. First thing in the morning, he would get up and make coffee and feed the cats and go out and sit on the porch and have a cigarette. Um, his mom's house was out in the country. He lived with her part of the time, and she had those fly paper things hanging from the ceiling because there were no screens on the door. You just opened the door. So almost every time you open the door, in comes a fly. They had that, but it was a beautiful scene of all these trees around. Um,
Mhm.
this song about the green, we all used to always talk, it's always greener on the other side.
Ah,
Because they're using fertilizer and we don't.
okay. All right.
Yeah. And he lived right next door to a farm, so that makes sense. And he loved being in the outdoors. You did good. You did
Oh
good.
gosh. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Uh,
much. Okay. Well, I guess this was the theme for the day, was kind of to work on identifying people who
are
are
vulnerable.
not family, but who are further out, and
Yeah.
how you have to work, you know, a little harder to get information from that, from people
Hmm.
like that. But um and the other thing I want to say about that particular guy is that he was quiet, you know, and it's even harder to get information from quiet people who are further out because
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
just don't talk that much. But for me, the key is to just trust spirit. Okay.
Right.
And however you get your information, whether you know it, whether you see it, whether you hear it, okay, just trust spirit and wait for the information to come. Okay. And you agree, Rainey, or do you have
Yes, I
different?
do. Yes, I do. Even like with mine, like at first you didn't know who it was. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, if you're bringing them through, it has to be someone we know. It might not be someone close. It may be someone back. And he was also from like the 90s, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So he was a
Oh,
ways
okay.
back.
Okay.
And
All right.
he did have all kind of tools, and I can't remember where he kept them, but he had a place where he kept them, so I'm sure he had a generator too, because he did all kind of work.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just an odd uh, set of facts there, and I
Yeah,
thought it was, you know, it's just
full connection.
interesting. You can approach mediumship from two different ways. All right, let's talk about this for a minute, Rini, because some mediums, when they're learning, are taught that you need to get like name, rank, and serial, okay, or specifically like cause of death, how old they were when they died, this kind of thing. That's one way of doing it. All
Mm-hmm.
right. But then on the other hand, there are other people who say it is better to let spirit tell their loved one what they want to tell their loved one. And that's the way that I work. I let spirit tell me. Occasionally, I will get into a conversation with them, like the talking about the house. I thought the flypaper was interesting because
Uh-huh.
nobody does that anymore. So
Right.
I asked him, well, where do you live? What does it look like that you need flypaper? And so he told me. But the point is that I engaged him in a conversation about a fact he had given me. I didn't go after him and say, well, how'd you die? Because the way that I look at that is if I were on the other side and some medium asked that question of me, I would tell them to go to hell. Okay. I mean, that is what I would do.
Sometimes
So
they don't want to talk about their
it's not
cause of
pleasant.
death because it isn't pleasant for the sitter, or
Right.
it isn't pleasant for themselves. If they took their own life, they don't want to talk about it. They see now what happened here and what's happening over there, and they don't want to make the sitter sad. They're kind of
Yeah.
here to uplift you, and
Right.
remind you of things that were fun or funny or memories that you still hold on to.
Especially people who are coming in for the first time. And Rainey and I, obviously, we do this every day. So our spirits are long past the first time spirit presentation, okay, and they will come in and they will joke with us and do crazy things. All right. But when we're talking about spirits coming in for the first time, like I feel bad for them because, like, imagine crossing over to the other side and then you're on the other side, you see your loved one sitting in a chair. If that were me, I would want to say, oh, please tell them I'm okay. Tell them I'm okay. Tell them this, tell them that. But the
Uh-huh.
point is that, you know, that's their show to tell. Okay. And, give their loved ones the information that they want their loved ones to hear. But then once they get past that point, like I said, Reenie's brother comes in at least 3 times a week. So he's well past that point. All right.
Yeah.
And he'll come in with just random fun stuff, and it's like a family reunion thing. So
Yes.
the style is a little bit different depending on how often the sitter goes to a medium and how often that spirit has been in. So, it will depend on that. So,
Right.
yeah. So you think so too, Rini?
Oh, yes, definitely. Definitely agree.
Okay. All right. Well, good. Well, that was fun.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, it was a good time. Okay. And we want to thank our YouTube audience for joining us this morning. If you liked what you saw here today, we're online every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you liked what you saw, please hit like and subscribe. It will help our channel, and you'll be notified of upcoming live streams as they happen. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and close this down with a prayer. If everyone would join me,
Mhm.
please. Thank you for allowing us to come together today in service of Spirit, Holy Father, Mother God. Thank you for the gift of mediumship that you've given us and allow us to use this precious gift to help others who need your healing and love. Bless our friends and loved ones and protect them from sickness and harm. Bring joy into the lives of people who have sorrow, health into the lives of people who have illness, and abundance to the lives of people who have little. Thank you for the lessons that you have given us today, and help us to continue to build a relationship with you that is based on love and trust. And always, please help us to be the lights that change this world for the better. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Thanks again. And we hope to
Yeah,
see you
guys.
same time, same channel next Saturday. Bye bye now.